So this evening, baking some crab stuffed tilapia and waiting for that to be ready. And with that, I'm going to have a white wine out of France, out of Burgundy, out of the Côte d'Or, out of the Côte de Beaune, the southern part of the Côte d'Or. And this is Puligny Montrachet, 2018, Vincent Bachelet. I don't know anything about this. Did get this from Princeton Corkscrew for $59. Whereas Puligny Montrachet, it's down here in the southern part of the Côte de Beaune. So way down here, Côte de Nuit, Côte de Beaune, mostly white wine, mostly Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, but there are some areas that do cross. You'll see that it's very difficult to see in the diagram, but there's plenty of areas that'll have red down below, like Volnay is all red, and that's an amazing area for Pinot Noir. One of my favorite Pinot Noirs I've ever had is actually from Volnay. So there's that. But this is from the south of Côte d'Or, of Burgundy there, the Côte de Beaune, more well known for Chardonnay. This is supposed to be a region, a village that's a little bit more well known for being a little bit bigger, full-bodied Chardonnay, unlike say Chablis or some of the other regions. But let's see. I can't really remember the last time I Puligny Montrachet, but it's also 2018, and every 2018 I've had of even Chablis just tasted much bigger on the mouthfeel and more extracted. I do still have the Frogs League 2017. Let's talk about that after. So the color's not intensely dark. So let's talk a little bit about Chardonnay from the old world and then say California. So in California, I got that bad reputation, Chardonnay being too oaky, too buttery, too big, too chewing on a cedar plank. They've made it definitely more restrained. There's certain areas, certain AVAs, certain plots that are definitely more Burgundian. They even brought some of the clones from Burgundy over to California to make them more Burgundian. And so what does that mean? More acidic, more restrained, not as much oak treatment, and more minerally. There's just this more minerally character. And depending on where they planted it, what vineyards, depending on how that expression, that Chardonnay, that expression of that Chardonnay in Napa formed over time. So Burgundy being sort of the model to follow, but I would say the difference is more minerally, more restrained, less oak, as an overall difference between California and Burgundy. A little less oak, more acidic, more acidity here. Sometimes they don't do malolactic fermentation, changing that malic acid to lactic acid, which does add a creaminess and a butteriness to Chardonnay. Most red wines go through it. I think the majority of red wines go through it. Not all whites do. Depends if you want to get a rounder mouthfeel or a rounder wine or a little bit more acidic. So it really depends. Again, let the winemaker make the choice. And less manipulation, the better, is sort of what I'm always a fan of. So a little restrained on the nose, but it's even chilling my glass. This wine is so cold. I could definitely smell the minerally character. It's a slight flintiness, mineral character, like some dusty white rocks. A little Meyer lemon. Star fruit. I'm getting sour fruit notes. No lemon or lime. Meyer lemon, which is more on the side of a orangey type of lemon. I feel like there's something else there. It's a little bit of white pepper. It smells really good. If it's not really an apple component, sometimes I get an apple. I'm not really getting apple. I'm not getting peach. Not really getting melon. I feel like I'm getting another type of fruit. It isn't really coming to me immediately. Oh, let's give it a taste. You know, it's definitely minerally and flinty. Touch smoky, not in a bad way, just a touch. More of that white pepper in there for sure. Not a lot, just a little. It's almost a salinity to it. It's definitely a lot more different than I expected. Let me make sure my palate's not tainted here. It's a little more shocking of a what I'm expecting. It could be that it's just a little closed too. The acid's absolutely there. The Meyer lemon's absolutely there. It's not creamy or custardy or anything like that at all. Very acidic. Really great acid. This is almost reminding me a little bit more of Chablis than the Chablis was reminding. The Chablis had all these apple notes. That's what I sort of expected here. I'm not getting those apple notes. I'm getting some tart acidic fruit. Like, you know, a tart star fruit and pineapple core and unripe melon, maybe a little bit. I know I said I wasn't getting melon. I'm getting it a little bit on the palate, but unripe and really good acidity. It's quite good. I think it's going to go pair really well with. Looking for the alcohol here. It's not hot at all. It is very, very well made and restrained. 2 nights in a row of a wine that just has a balance. This has a very, very good balance. I expected this to be bigger, and I'm happy it isn't. Again, it's being what it should be. It's showing itself in this, for this vineyard, for this village. I mean, this village of Puligny Montrachet. It's absolutely showing that. And I haven't had enough of these to know what this expression or this village should taste like. From what I read, it should be a little bit bigger. A little bit more oaked. Is there anything on the back that's telling me anything here? No. The label's covered anyway. But I'm suspecting this has a minimal amount of oak treatment. There's really... This is just very expressive, but very pure. Very pure, for sure. I normally say that something tastes or smells like Chardonnay. I don't know if I would know that from just this aroma. No, I would not know this is a Chardonnay right off the bat. I think it just lacks a little bit of that oak. Not that I'd mind. You know, lacks. I don't know how to explain what Chardonnay smells like, because it is a blank canvas. Chardonnay could be so many things depending on the vinification, the oak treatment, the village, the region, the soil, the everything. I like it though. $60 good? Probably not, but a good wine nonetheless, and it has a purity of the fruits it is showing, a purity of the minerals it's showing. It's very minerally. This is probably a very minerally version of a Chardonnay. And it is what you expect out of Burgundy, sort of this elegance. Again, I'm using that word again. What the heck does elegance mean? But I guess it just means not overly gaudy in any one way. It's got layers, and there's a lot showing, and it's pure, and it's being itself. It's the third one I'm going to talk about not having an identity crisis, but I'm not sure. Not really sure that this is what this village typically shows. medium plus length, medium plus acidity. It's good. It's really good. I think as it sits, gets a little warmer, sits a little bit more, I think it'll get better. I think it's absolutely going to be amazing with the food. Just from the acidity, from the length, from some of the notes in it, it's going to add a little bit to that fish, to the tilapia and the crab stuffing. I think it's going to be awesome. So I'll give an update on that tomorrow, possibly, or next time I do a video. The Frog's Leap, definitely gave a 5 out of 5. The Frog's Leap 2017 that I had yesterday, that Cabernet, was awesome, as I showed or spoke in the video. But not just that, with the steak, it was perfect. The Wagyu filet is extremely, extremely tender. It's like cutting into butter. And I cooked it at medium rare almost. And each bite with the wine just married well. It melded. It wasn't, the wine was so big that it overpowered this meat that was so ridiculously tender, but has a higher fat because it was a Wagyu filet, but just, it was perfect. It really was a perfect marriage of that steak and that wine last night. So 5 out of 5. Sometimes the meal, the presence, the mood dictates how wine will taste for you. If you're in the right mood, wine will taste better than if you're in a bad mood. Your company, your meal, time of day, everything. Time of day, season. Sure, seasons can do that too. So I gave that one a 5. I absolutely have another one. I suspect this is going to be a wine I buy every vintage. There's a few wines I do that with. Clio from Spain, buy every vintage. Been buying it since, I think, 2002. Pontet Canet, I buy the Chateau Pontet Canet, the Bordeaux from Pauillac Left Bank. I try to buy in every vintage if I can, if I could afford it. It's gone up in price. I do always buy the ones that are affordable when the vintage is a very good vintage in Bordeaux. And I've never had a bad Pontet Canet though, ever. Even a 2004, which wasn't a great vintage, the wine was amazing and it was $50. I wish I could find more of that. I loved it. Loved it. This Frog's Leap, I will definitely buy more. If I find any past vintages of it, I would love to try that. So the Chapelet was from St. Helena, so that was a little update from yesterday. I was wondering where in Napa was, St. Helena, and I love the Chapelet. That winery, that cab is awesome. I tell people for $50-$60, you're not going to get a better one. That's a little more unctuous, but has that caramel smell about an hour in, which is super awesome. But it's a bigger, much bigger cab than the Frog's Leap. So totally different styles in my opinion, but both amazing. Both 5 out of 5, depending on what you're having it with, or your company, or what they're sort of looking for. A bigger, bolder, or a little more restrained. You know, a lot of people want a lighter wine. I mean, you have the Pinot Noir camp, and then you have the Cab camp, then you sort of have stuff in the middle there. Sangiovese, a restrained Cabernet maybe from a different region of the world. Some people want a rustic old world. Nebbiolo certainly is between those two as well. The tannin of a Cab, but the sort of the lightness and elegance of a Pinot Noir. And then you have it in middle, Mount Etna, absolutely right between those two. So there's so many variations depending on what people's palates desire. And there's a wine for everybody. I just tell anybody, try something new. Try to stay away from the stuff you normally buy. You know, what's the worst? It's going to happen. Spend a few extra bucks. Spend a little more out of your price range than you're normally used to and see what you get. See if it makes a difference to you. Maybe it doesn't, and then you go back to what you normally buy. So, just looking at some of my cabs down here, and besides those two as sort of being staples that I love to try every year, Chapelet and Frog's Leap's now on that list. Two very different styles, but two amazing ones. I like some other ones. Sequoia Grove for about a $40 cab is really, really excellent at Rutherford as well. I recommend that one a lot because the price used to be in the 30s. I thought it was the best $30 cab you can buy. Now it's inching up into the 40s. It's still great, but then for another $10, you might get the Chapelet or Frog's Leap. That Sequoia is going to fall short just because of the price of it has gone up. I don't know that I found so many other cabs that are in that range. The Récoltant, I just bought a case for $27 a bottle. 2018. I did a video. That wine is amazing and over delivers, but it is deliciousness times 10, or deliciousness at the one at a 10 out of 10. And yeah, it has depth, it has flavor, it has everything. It isn't the finesse and elegance of the Frog's Leap. It won't have that, maybe the caramel, but it has got a delicious factor, and it is a great, great, great wine for $27. And I bought a case of it. It's sitting out at J.J. Buckley in California. I have to figure a way to get it here. I brought one to my brother's house, and I shared it on, I forget what it was. Oh, July 4th, and people really enjoyed it. And I asked what it was. I said, you can't really find it. At least I've never seen it in New Jersey, but a great, great wine. So waxing poetic, right? I mean, drinking a Chardonnay, talking about cabs and wines in my cellar. I guess I'm just waiting for that tilapia to bake. So a 16-minute video for one wine. We'll see how this wine develops over the night. See how it develops the next time I have it. It's going to be that 4.5. 4.5 for a wine, 4 because of the price. I try not to think about price and I don't really like rating wines, but I like to know if I will buy one again. I sort of think of wines as, will I buy this again? And I don't buy things much in cases, but that cab for 27 bucks was amazing. I also bought a case of this cab once called Liquid Sky, which was also in that same price range, ridiculously, ridiculously delicious. And it was from a region, I was in a Sonoma Moon Mountain or something like that. Crazy. If I ever find that one again from J.J. Buckley, I'll get another case of that. That was unbelievably delicious. Really good. So, this video's gone way too far. And with that, I'm going to go have my dinner, and good night.